Okay, for those astute watchers, you might notice the fact that I'm not in my office in the basement of Simplex-IT in Stowe, Ohio. In fact, I am here in front of a rather interesting woman. And I'm actually on, obviously by the Statue of Liberty, at a conference in New Jersey, although this is technically in New York, although there's some controversy about that apparently, at a conference that's held by IT by Design, called Design It. And it's a couple hundred MSPs who are getting together to talk about a lot of topics, including, of course, cybersecurity. Now, here's the interesting thing. This doesn't mean necessarily that the pandemic's over, especially in terms of conferences and the like. In fact, I'm not exactly sure what the rest of the year is going to hold for conferences, and it'll be an interesting thing to see what happens. There are some conferences that are well scheduled, and I think it's 50-50 whether they'll actually happen or not. Obviously, we want to err on the side of safety. But we've been busy there at Simplex-IT, and I wanted to let you know what's been going on. We've added a new face. Ryan has joined us, the new business development, part of Patty Smirk's sales and marketing department. And he's basically going to be handling developing new business, which we really need because we are busy with onboarding new clients and the like, and also adding new services and projects, especially on the security side, as well as some infrastructure upgrades for our existing clients. So we are busy, and that's a good thing. One of the things that's making us busy is we're doing webinars still. We did one last month that talked about requirements, data requirements, all that kind of fun stuff. And we have another webinar that we originally were going to do as an on-premise event, but we decided to hold off on those yet and went for a webinar this month, meaning September, talking about Windows 11. I've been using Windows 11 personally now for about 3 weeks or so, and it's got basically a B+, A-. There's still a couple of things that aren't quite working, but overall, I think it's a solid product, and I think once it's released, it's going to be pretty cool. So if you want to check it out, and you know us, we don't candy code everything. We don't automatically say things stink or say they're absolutely fantastic. We'll tell you the pros and cons and let you make the decision as to whether or not Windows 11 is going to be part of your future. Actually, it will be. It's a question of how soon will you adopt. This will especially be interesting for folks who are responsible for the IT of organizations, whether it be internal IT or CEOs. One of the other things what we're doing is, or that we did, was we also had a party. We did an in-person event that was at the Quarter Up Video Arcade Bar. Okay, not quite the appeal that we have here, but you know, we got a budget, come on. And we had about 50 people who showed up and had, I hope, a great time with folks from Simplex-IT handing out quarters like there was no tomorrow. And everybody had fun with the video games, and thanks very much for the Quarter Up folks making sure everybody had a great time. One of the other things I want to point out is that Simplex-IT is busy training ourselves. And what I mean by that is all of our technicians are essentially working on developing additional skills, whether it be on cybersecurity, Azure, 365, server management, all that kind of fun stuff, because that's part of our mantra, always learning, always sharing. And several of our technicians either have done some training or are doing, and we're talking week-long through the business day training, because we want to be up to date. We want to have as skilled a group as possible, and we want our technicians to always be improving their own skills. So that's working out pretty well. One of the other things we've done recently is we just created a 2-page document, basically a PDF, if you will, of 7 ways that IT can increase value to your organization. It's specifically made to help CEOs better understand how IT can be used as a positive force for their organization, instead of just the security piece or cost center that's always sucking up money. I'll put a link in the comments as to where you can get a copy of that document. And speaking, so now it's September, which means we're basically 2/3 the way through 2021, and I thought I had a better idea of how it was going to end, but now I'm not so sure, except so far, knock on wood, Simplex-IT, we've been doing very well. We're close to reaching our goal for the year in terms of growth, and that's in spite of all the pandemic stuff. And thankfully, and perhaps even more importantly, we've added several new clients. You can hear people screaming about how wonderful it is in the background, as well as a lot of our clients are doing well and they're growing, and that's cool to see as well. One of the things in particular that I think is worth mentioning is the fact that we're still to the point where more people are showing up at the office at Simplex-IT, but still it's voluntary. At this point, Simplex-IT, we're not planning on forcing people to come back to work in terms of working at the office. It's essentially when it's appropriate for them and when it makes sense, or client needs or the like. Otherwise, we are seeing that people working from home, working from anywhere, if you will, we're more productive than we were before the pandemic starts, and we were doing pretty good back then as well. So bottom line, traveling, actually at a cool party, stuff is happening, new faces, and a lot of growth that is happening, good growth on Simplex-IT side. We're going to talk more about some of the specific things we're doing on the cybersecurity side. We're adding some additional tools and taking our security layers to that next level as an optional add-on for our clients, as well as for new clients, especially those in the CMMC world or those who have cyber liability insurance that has new requirements. Travelers, we've got solutions for you in case you need it. Anyway, from Statue of Liberty, it's Bob Coppage. Hope you're doing well. If you want a copy of one of my books, either CEO Survival Guide to Information Technology or I Don't Want Your Job as Co-Managed IT Services the Right Fit for You, drop me a line, either here in the comments or send me a message with your mailing address. Happy to send you a copy of either one or both of those books.